The corridor is so narrow that two people cannot walk side by side. The stone walls press inward, not because they move, but because the darkness makes them feel closer than they are. The air is heavy and wet. It smells like cold stone, old water, and something else that does not have a clean name. The kind of smell that tells your body this place has never been safe. Water runs slowly down the walls. Not enough to drip loudly. Just enough to leave the stone shining, as if the building itself is sweating. These walls have been underground for hundreds of years. They have never seen the sun. They never will. A single torch burns ahead, held by a guard who does not speak. Its light does not reach very far. It only shows what is immediately in front of you, and that feels deliberate. Whatever waits beyond the light is meant to stay unseen for as long as possible. Somewhere deeper in the fortress, a sound rises and falls. Slow. Rhythmic. It could be a machine. It could be breathing. It could be something in between. Your mind searches for a harmless explanation, but your body does not wait for permission. Your neck tightens. Your hands feel cold. Your instincts already know the truth. This place is not built to find truth. It is built to produce surrender. The year is 1498. The city above this corridor is Seville. People are buying bread. Children are playing in the streets. Bells are ringing for prayer. Life is continuing, loud and ordinary, only a few meters above this underground world. Down here, men disappear. Some are guilty. Some are not. Many will never know exactly what they are accused of. They will not see evidence. They will not face their accusers. They will only be led, step by step, deeper into stone rooms designed for one purpose: to break the human mind by breaking the human body, slowly, carefully, and in the correct order. This is not chaos. This is procedure. What happens in this place follows rules. There is a system. There is a sequence. Each method is chosen not just to cause pain, but to prepare the victim for something worse that is still coming. And once you understand how this system works, you begin to understand why so many people confess to things they never did, and why fear spread far beyond the walls of this fortress and into every home, every family, every quiet evening where a candle burned a little too long. This story is not about one man. It is about a machine built to destroy resistance itself. Stay with us till the end for valuable insights. Like, subscribe, and share to support the channel. The year is 1498, but the danger does not announce itself with trumpets or fire. It arrives quietly, like a hand on the shoulder in a crowded street. Seville is a busy city. Ships arrive from distant ports. Merchants argue over prices. Bells ring from church towers, marking the hours of prayer. To most people, life feels normal. Hard, perhaps, but familiar. The streets are full. The markets are loud. The future feels predictable enough to plan dinner. That is what makes the Spanish Inquisition so powerful. It does not look like danger at first. The Holy Office presents itself as calm, serious, and correct. It wears black robes. It speaks in soft voices. It claims to protect faith, order, and truth. It does not shout in the streets or drag people away in chains in front of crowds. Most arrests happen quietly. A knock on a door. A short walk. A promise that everything will be explained later. Later rarely comes. The Inquisition works in a world where accusation is enough to begin destruction. A neighbor's words carry more weight than a lifetime of good behavior. Small habits become signs of hidden crimes. A candle lit at the wrong time. Food avoided without explanation. A prayer spoken too softly, or not spoken at all. Once a name enters the records of the Holy Office, the process begins. It does not rush. It does not panic. It moves forward with patience, because it believes time is on its side. The accused is taken underground. Not to a courtroom. Not to a place of argument. But to holding cells carved from stone, where the light is weak and the air never feels fresh. Days pass. Sometimes weeks. No charges are explained. No accuser is named. Silence becomes the first tool. This waiting is not accidental. The Inquisition understands something important about fear. Fear grows best when the mind has nothing solid to hold on to. When the accused does not know what they are facing, every sound becomes a threat. Every footstep in the corridor feels like a sentence being carried closer. By the time questioning begins, the prisoner is already tired. Already confused. Already willing to listen. And the questioning does not begin with pain. It begins with words. A friar speaks gently. He explains that the church only wants the truth. That confession brings mercy. That stubbornness brings consequences. He does not threaten. He does not raise his voice. He simply points out that resistance makes things longer. This is where the system reveals itself. The Spanish Inquisition does not begin by destroying the body. It begins by preparing the mind. It creates a clear path forward and makes sure the prisoner can see it. At the start of that path is something the Inquisition officially considers mild. Something meant to teach, not to punish. Flogging. This is the first step. Not because it is the worst, but because it teaches a lesson the body never forgets. Pain is real here, and it can always become worse. And once that lesson is learned, the door behind the prisoner closes. Not loudly. Not dramatically. But completely. Flogging is recorded in the Inquisition's documents as a minor correction. The language used is calm, almost casual. It is listed the way a clerk might list supplies or expenses. To the men who ordered it, flogging was not cruelty. It was instruction. The prisoner is brought into a simple room. There are no complicated machines here. No strange instruments hanging from the walls. This is intentional. The Inquisition wants the accused to understand that pain does not always need invention. It can be delivered with tools that already exist. The prisoner is stripped to the waist. Clothing is removed not just for access, but for humiliation. The body is made visible, vulnerable, and small. Hands are tied. The back is exposed. The position is uncomfortable but not yet unbearable. Then the first strike lands. It is sharp and sudden. The body reacts before the mind has time to prepare. Muscles tighten. Breath escapes in a sound the prisoner does not recognize as their own. The second strike comes faster. The third faster still. The whip is made of leather, sometimes reinforced, sometimes bundled. It is designed to tear skin without killing. After a few strokes, the surface of the back begins to change. Red becomes darker. Lines open. Blood mixes with sweat. The pain is intense, but that is not the real purpose. The real purpose is counting. The prisoner hears the number spoken aloud. Each strike is measured. Each blow is deliberate. There is no anger in the man holding the whip. He is doing his job. This makes the experience worse, not better. When pain comes from rage, the mind looks for chaos. When pain comes from procedure, the mind understands that this is controlled, planned, repeatable. Some prisoners break during flogging. Not because they cannot endure the pain, but because they suddenly understand where they are. they realize this is only the beginning. That if this is considered mild, they do not want to discover what severe feels like. Others remain silent. Those prisoners are taken back to their cells. Their wounds are left untreated just enough to ache constantly. Sleep is difficult. Every movement reminds them of what happened. Every quiet moment gives their imagination space to work. And the imagination is always crueler than reality. The Inquisition does not rush to the next method. It waits. It allows the pain to settle into memory. It allows fear to grow roots. The prisoner begins to think in terms of avoidance, not truth. What answer will make this stop? What words will prevent the next lesson? This is exactly what the system wants. Flogging teaches the body that resistance has a cost. It teaches the mind that obedience might reduce that cost. It creates a new way of thinking, where survival matters more than honesty. For those who still refuse to confess, the Inquisition moves forward. Not suddenly. Not violently. But with quiet confidence. The next method does not rely on strength. It relies on time. And time, when combined with pain and exhaustion, becomes something far more dangerous. After flogging, many prisoners believe they now understand pain. They are wrong. The next method used by the Inquisition is quieter. There is no blood at first. No striking. No shouting. And that is exactly why it works so well. This lesson is not meant to break the body quickly. It is meant to exhaust the mind. The device is simple. A small metal rod, about the length of a hand. On each end of the rod are two short prongs, sharp enough to hurt but not long enough to kill. The rod is placed under the prisoner's chin and against the chest. A leather strap holds it in place around the neck. The prisoner is then left alone. No pulling. No twisting. No blows. Just standing. Or sitting. And waiting. At first, it does not seem unbearable. The prongs press into soft flesh, but the pain is manageable. The prisoner thinks they can endure this. They have endured worse. But the body does not stay still forever. Muscles grow tired. The neck weakens. The head wants to drop forward. The moment it does, the prongs dig deeper. Not enough to kill, but enough to remind the body to stay awake. The prisoner tries to lift their head again. This brings a new pain under the chin. Speaking hurts. Swallowing hurts. Silence becomes the only safe choice. Hours pass. The body demands sleep. The mind begs for rest. But sleep is impossible. The moment the muscles relax, pain arrives like a sharp hand snapping the prisoner awake. This is the design. The Inquisition understands that sleep is not a luxury. It is a defense. Without it, the mind begins to fail. Thoughts lose structure. Time stretches. Fear becomes heavier than reason. Some of these devices are engraved with a single word, I recant. The prisoner is told that saying this word will make the pain stop. The strap will be removed. Rest will be allowed. Water will be given. The choice is placed carefully in front of them. The device does not force confession. It invites it. Every moment becomes a question. How long can I stay awake? How much pain can I accept? Is this belief worth this suffering? The prisoner begins to argue with themselves. The Inquisition does not need to speak. The work is already happening inside the mind. This method leaves no visible scars. A physician can examine the body and find nothing serious. This makes it perfect. The Inquisition prefers tools that do not leave evidence. Tools that appear gentle on paper. But the damage is real. After long hours, sometimes days, prisoners lose their sense of time. They begin to confuse thoughts with memories. Some start to whisper answers just to hear their own voice. Others agree to things they do not fully understand, just to make it stop. This is where many confessions are born. Not from truth. Not from guilt. But from exhaustion. And for those who still refuse, who somehow keep their silence even as their minds begin to fracture, the Inquisition decides that patience has done all it can do. The next lesson is no longer quiet. It is fast. It is violent. And it teaches the body something the mind can never forget. The next room is larger. The ceiling is higher. The walls are bare. There is nothing here that looks threatening at first, and that is intentional. The prisoner is not meant to understand immediately what is about to happen. Their hands are tied behind their back. The rope is rough. It bites into the skin around the wrists, but this still feels small compared to what they have already endured. After sleepless days and constant pain, the prisoner's body feels dull, slow, almost distant. Then the rope is lifted. At first, the feet still touch the ground. The body leans forward slightly. The shoulders pull in a way that feels wrong but not yet unbearable. The prisoner tells themselves they can survive this too. Then the feet leave the floor. The entire weight of the body drops onto the shoulders, which are twisted backward at an angle the human body was never meant to hold. The pain arrives instantly. It is sharp, deep, and shocking. It does not spread slowly. It explodes. The shoulders begin to separate. This is not a metaphor. Inside the body, joints stretch beyond their limits. Ligaments strain. Muscles scream. Nerves fire in every direction at once. The prisoner cannot control their breathing. Air comes in short, broken gasps. Minutes feel like hours. The Inquisition does not need to rush. It knows the body will fail on its own. Often, the shoulders dislocate quickly. When they do, the pain changes. It becomes deeper, heavier, and constant. The arms no longer feel like part of the body. They feel like weights dragging the rest of the person downward. Sometimes, the rope is raised higher. Sometimes, the rope is dropped suddenly and caught again before the body hits the ground. This sudden stop sends a violent shock through the shoulders and arms. People in nearby rooms can hear it. A sharp sound. Like wood breaking. Like something tearing that cannot be repaired. This is also part of the design. Others are meant to hear this. The prisoner is asked questions while hanging. Calm questions. The same ones asked before. The tone does not change. Only the pain does. Some prisoners faint. When they wake, the rope is still there. The pain returns instantly, as if it had only been waiting. This method does not last long. It does not need to. The damage it causes in a short time is enough to change a person forever. Even if the prisoner survives and is released, their arms may never work properly again. Their sleep will always be haunted by the memory of hanging, helpless, while their body came apart piece by piece. For many, this is the breaking point. They speak. They agree. They say names. And still, some do not. For those people, the Inquisition decides that the body must be taught a final lesson. Not through hanging. Not through waiting. But through being slowly pulled apart, while the prisoner watches it happen and understands exactly what is being done to them. The table is made of wood. Thick, heavy wood, polished smooth by years of use. It looks almost ordinary, like something built for work, not for pain. That is how many prisoners first misunderstand it. The prisoner is laid down on their back. Their arms are stretched outward. Their legs are straightened. Ropes are wrapped around wrists and ankles, tight but careful. Every knot is placed with experience. Nothing here is rushed. Nothing is careless. At each end of the table, there are rollers. The prisoner sees them turn slowly as the rope tightens. At first, the sensation is not pain. It is pressure. A feeling of being stretched, like waking from a deep sleep and reaching too far. The body resists naturally. Muscles tighten. The prisoner tries to pull back. The table does not pull back. The rollers turn again. Now the pressure becomes pain. A deep pain, buried inside joints and bones. The shoulders strain. The hips feel wrong. The spine arches in ways it was never designed to bend. The Inquisition calls this method controlled. They turn the rollers a little at a time. They stop. They ask questions. They wait. Then they turn them again. With each movement, something inside the body gives way. Cartilage tears. Ligaments stretch until they snap. The joints no longer fit together the way they used to. The prisoner can feel it happening. They can feel their body changing into something broken. And there is sound. A sharp cracking noise. Sometimes several. It does not always come with screaming. Sometimes the prisoner is too shocked to make noise. Sometimes the sound comes from the body itself, loud enough to echo in the stone room. This sound is not hidden. Other prisoners hear it through the walls, through doors, through corridors. They learn what the table does without ever seeing it. Some confess just from listening. They say whatever they think the Inquisition wants to hear. Truth becomes meaningless. Survival becomes everything. The ropes bite deeper as they twist. Skin tears. Blood appears. The pain becomes lead. There is no single place it comes from anymore. It is everywhere at once. The Inquisition watches carefully. They are not trying to kill the prisoner. A physician may be present, observing quietly. If the body seems close to death, the rollers stop. The prisoner is allowed to rest, just enough to keep them alive. This is not mercy. A dead person cannot confess. Many prisoners leave the table unable to walk properly. Some cannot lift their arms again. Some cannot straighten their backs. The damage is permanent. Even if they survive, even if they are released, their bodies will always remember this room. And still, there are prisoners who do not confess. The Inquisition has one more method before the end. A method that leaves no broken bones. No torn skin. No visible marks at all. A method that convinces the body it is dying. Not once, but again and again. The last method does not look violent. There is no stretching of limbs. No tearing of skin. No sound of bones breaking. That is why many prisoners misunderstand it at first. The prisoner is tied to a wooden frame. Their arms and legs are secured, not painfully, but firmly enough that movement is impossible. Their body is tilted slightly, with the head lower than the feet. This position feels strange, but not dangerous. A thin cloth is placed over the prisoner's face. It is light, almost gentle. Then water begins to pour. At first, it feels like nothing more than dampness. The cloth grows heavy as it absorbs the water. It presses softly against the mouth and nose. The prisoner tries to breathe and realizes something is wrong. Air does not come. The body reacts instantly. The chest tightens. The lungs pull desperately for oxygen that is not there. The mind understands only one thing: I am drowning. The prisoner gasps, but the cloth blocks the breath. Water fills the mouth. It runs into the nose. The body fights, but the ropes do not move. Panic explodes without warning. This is not pain like before. This is terror. Every instinct in the human body is screaming to escape. The heart races. The chest convulses. The prisoner believes, completely and without doubt, that death is seconds away. Then the water stops. The cloth is lifted. Air rushes back in, burning the throat, tearing into the lungs. The prisoner coughs violently. Water spills out. The body shakes as it tries to recover from what it is certain was the edge of death. And just as the body begins to believe it has survived, the cloth is placed back. The water begins again. This happens over and over. Each time feels final. Each time feels like the last breath that will ever be taken. There is no rhythm to rely on. No warning. No way to prepare. This method leaves no scars. A doctor can examine the prisoner afterward and find nothing broken. No wounds. No blood. On paper, it looks humane. Inside the mind, something has changed forever. The prisoner has now experienced death without dying. They know how it feels to be absolutely certain that life is ending. And they know that the people in the room can bring that feeling back whenever they choose. Most prisoners confess here. They do not argue. They do not explain. They say whatever is asked. The Inquisition understands that by this point, resistance is gone. Not defeated, but erased. The body no longer belongs to the prisoner. The future no longer feels real. There is only the next breath, and the fear of losing it again. For those who confess, punishment follows. For those who do not, there is no mystery left. The process moves forward into public judgment, into fire and smoke, into crowds watching as suffering becomes spectacle. But the true power of the Inquisition does not end with death. It spreads outward. Families lose homes. Children lose futures. Neighbors learn to watch each other. Silence becomes safety. Obedience becomes instinct. That is the final lesson. The goal was never just confession. It was control. And once fear learns where to live, it does not leave easily. The corridors remain. The stone stays wet. And long after the screams stop, the system continues to work, quietly, patiently, exactly as it was designed to.